Welcome to today's video about the wounded masculine. And I have asked you if that is something that is interesting to you. I find upfront what is very, very important. This video is not about punishing men or saying something that because they are not standing in their truth, not speaking up for themselves, and because of that we have the right as a woman to somehow feel empty. This is about your inner masculine. This is about your inner divine that is existing and that you can actually start to experience without any other person. What I've experienced in my 20s was the feminine, my own inner feminine, right? Was not really present. Wasn't really there. Was very repressed and very much hidden. It wasn't about, hey, show your emotions, start to create, start to go in the flow. It was nothing like that. And there was also not really the container I have built to do that, right? I started in my late 20s, beginning 30s, when I started to get in contact with my inner masculine to really ground himself, right? Again, this is not gender specific. This is not about your genitals. This is not about going against something. This is about understanding and checking out where in your life have you managed to act like the wounded masculine, right? Where have you pushed through something that wasn't really in a healthy way? That is what this video is all about, okay? So let's go into how does actually a healthy masculine really look like, right? What does that look like, right? Many of us have not experienced this. If this is from your home, from your society, however, we have not really seen that many good role models on what it really means from a man perspective, let's say, on the masculine side. We haven't really experienced that. And I know many women who haven't experienced that and then took over in their masculinity because the woman or the feminine, okay, cannot really stand in that power or in her power without the masculine, and the masculine cannot really be without the feminine. Again, this is not gender specific. This is about your inner world. And so when you start to realize on how you're acting, you can use those kind of energies for yourself to get again back into the balance of who you truly are. And so when we are looking back in our own childhood on where we have actually seen a very healthy dynamic, okay, a family dynamic where there has been a healthy relationship between your parents, there has been a groundedness, this feeling safe and feeling protected does come from the masculine. It does come from that perspective that we feel safe in this container, right? And if that container isn't here, it's very hard for the feminine to even show up because she doesn't feel in power to do so. So what I learned and what I've cultivated is to create my own inner masculine to be more in a healthy place, to awaken the feminine, because only then she can come up and be strong and start to go her way. Now the masculine, the wounded masculine, you gotta question yourself. How would you describe masculinity? How would you describe that? And you see, for most of us, this is so hard because we don't even know how it looks like, right? We haven't felt it. We haven't felt how that would look like. That's why we somehow generate relationships where we can heal that aspect in us, and many other aspects, by the way, right? Many other aspects. You just have to go and look in your friend circle and see which partner are they choosing, right? What is it that reflects back on them, right? And the interesting part is that most of us then feel we are not doing that, but they are doing that. See, they're choosing the partner because of their own lack, right? And we feel we are not doing that. Not at all, right? We are. You see, that's the funniest ever. We are choosing our partners exactly from that point, because the way how we connect is what we are, right? And no, even if we say, I don't want this and this who reflected back in my childhood, who had similar traits than my parents used maybe, and that remind me of my parents, it's actually funny because it returns every single time. It returns. So if you're not healing that kind of trait within you, you will constantly meet the same people over and over again. And so I was sick and tired to meet the same people again. I was so sick. I was so done. I was so like, okay, you know what? I need to know what it means to stay next to a healthy masculine, right? A healthy man, if you so want, right? You can externalize it. But first you have to understand, what does this mean inside of you, right? And we are quite talking from a woman perspective on reflecting outside. But what we need to look into is the reflection we have from inside on what a man or a masculine man, that was actually wrong worded, because we each have both energies within us. But it's about learning to feel and to stand your ground if someone who has a healthy dynamic stands next to you. What a woman generally does is, if she is in her own kind of woundedness, right? She feels, when there is no drama, when it's just smooth, she feels something is wrong. Because in all her past, she has felt that it needs drama. There needs to be an up and down on emotions. Now, if the masculine, your inner masculine, your outer masculine, the physical appearance, is showing you nourishment, is showing you that you can open up in a safe space, you can be free and talk and express yourself, and you're not getting punished for that. Then you start to realize how that feels like. But the thing is, because you feel so unsafe in that environment, that means that you gotta go back and do the internal work too, you see? So I had to do that. Many other people have to do that. Now, this is not Once again, this is not gender specific. It could be that you're a man watching this. It's the same story, okay? If a woman comes and nourishes you and starts to ask you about how you feel and starts to believe in you and starts to give you space and freedom, right? And you as the masculine part, or you as the man, you're like, huh, what is that all about? Why do you give me so much space? Something must be wrong, right? Something must be wrong. You can't really feel it. So what we got to do in the first thing is to feel into the masculine space, into this energy on how this feels like. Okay, so that's what I want to invite you at this current moment. Start to feel the energy of the masculine coming into your body, okay, and start to feel how that would make you feel, right? So when you start to close your eyes, take a deep breath, move your body a little bit, and just attune to so you're comfortable. And then just start to feel how that would make you feel if you are in a space that is safe. In a space where you can express, you can create, you feel protected. There is a clear leadership, there is a clear guidance. It's not about he would tell you something like, I just go with the flow. It would be something like, from a healthy perspective, it would be something like, this is where I want to go and I would love you to join. It's very open, it's very freeing. It's kind of like you feel well in stillness. It's like there is a lot of power, but it's not all about words. It's just about that container that is held. It's that place that is held. And it's this kind of image maybe that you have from a leader who is going his way, but he's doing it in a very compassionate and very loving way. It's not about I'm the greatest and you are a loser and I'm just stepping over you. No, it's very kind. It's very liberating. And when you start to feel into this from a feminine point of view, right? From an energy that is more soft and more gentle. When you start to think about how that energy can rise now, because there is a container where she can express herself, she can create, she can come up from the darkness, from the hidden point that she has been placed for many years maybe. It is this going together in one hand, but it's a very internal process. This is not about external. This is about feeling it internally. It's about the feminine is very much in the in the being and in the creation and in the softness and gentleness, while the masculine is creating the space for her and making sure that she is protected and safe, and creates that container so she can grow, and because she trusts him that he can take over the lead. She follows and trusts him that he can do it. Right? You can open up your eyes again. You see, this is a very, very simple way you can even connect from really above and below and start to really align if that is useful for you, if you cannot feel it from your heart like this. I used to do that when I wasn't really sure how to create that and how to really feel and experience that. I feel that when you start to feel into how the wounded masculine is reactive sometimes, in a sense of numbing his pain, not sharing, controlling, taking control over another person or over you, right? Overriding everything. The wounded masculine will not really react from a centered place. It's very much from this, you can really say, from a wounded child, kind of like doesn't know how to take ownership, doesn't know how to stand his ground, his power. It's very, very powerful when it's in a healthy place, but then as well, from the society part of view, you see, we got a lot of things to numb our emotions. So what he's doing is he does drink a lot, or he is in addiction somehow. He does consume porn maybe, or something like this, to not be present anymore, right? To escape somehow, to not feel too much, to not be there. See, the masculine will actually communicate what is going on, but never in a very whiny way, but just very honest, very steady. Hey, this is how I currently feel. I don't want you to fix me. I don't want you to pretend everything is fine. The only thing I really want from the feminine is to trust in me, so that I can actually find a way to make it happen. That's all. It's very much about freedom too. It's about being free. That's the masculine energy. Now I hold quite a lot of that. I love freedom. Like I love when I know that I have a lot of things, opportunities, or I have a lot of space, right? There is nothing that I love so much than standing up in front of a mountain and just checking the view, like this wide view. That's like, for me, it's like heaven. I mean, that's just pure joy and love for the masculine. You got to figure out how that looks for you. Because the thing is, you gotta start nourishing those parts in your inner masculine to step out again in a healthy way, right? To step into that place where the feminine, your inner feminine, feels held, right? So I started to really go into, how does my inner feminine feel? What's going on? Can I hold space? Can I actually start to unreveal what is there? Is my inner masculine ready to hold that space? Let's open up, right? And I would do that with journaling. I would do that with the intention that I'm getting out all the energy from my belly and I'm getting it out, okay, all the way out, and I leave it up. You can do this with some kind of movement. It's really helpful to create some kind of like opening up, like from the really below and all the way up. But I never ever do this without checking in with my inner masculine if there is capacity, because the inner feminine cannot really do this by herself. Never worked for me. This is also kind of a concept, right? And you see, every concept we have, and most probably I left a lot of things that I normally do, I left it out because I forgot. So feel free to do some addings in below comments on what is important for you when you start to work with your inner masculine and inner feminine. I believe that when we start this process, we need to recognize that we are just trying out something. We are open to try out something, and we see if that resonates with us, yes or no. There are so many concepts, and you can work with many other things too, right? That may give you similar results, right? That may help you too. For me, this is something that helped me, and the reason is very, very simple. When I'm healing or doing this healing work, healing the masculine, healing the feminine, you see there's always something coming up, showing up one more time, that I need to look over and that I need to somehow create space for me, and to start to feel all of it, and to start to release tension, for example. And when I start doing that, I recognize that there is so much more to come. And then, because I have done a certain amount of work, I can actually feel how a person I would like to work with, or I would like to have as a friend, or I would like to have as a partner, I can sense how this needs to feel like. You see, that is the whole clue. The clue is that because you can feel it, right? Because at one point you're like, oh my God, this is really how it feels like, right? And this is such an inner process. You have to try this out many, many times maybe to really get into that space. It's not that I have started this and I felt it immediately. I didn't. I really didn't. Okay? But also it didn't took me really long. And so when I started to recognize these energies within me, and I started to see like, okay, I can make myself feel this way. This is how I want to feel with a friend or with a partner or blah, 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 whatsoever, right? Then I know what to look for. I know what I really want, right? And so for me, this is the most easiest way to explain how to get in contact with people you want to have in your inner circle. It's the easiest way for me to explain to you on how that feels like, and how do you know that this person is right for you, because you prepared yourself for something, right? You start to learn that, okay, maybe I have never experienced something like this, and I have to first feel it so that I can even allow it in. Is this the only truth of how you can do that? No, I'm pretty sure no, right? I'm pretty sure. For me, it really worked. And so this is one more time something for you. You gotta make adjustments so that it works for you. But what I recommend is start journaling and start to get this out, start to see how you can feel and experience your inner masculine, and start to look back in your childhood on where you haven't felt safe, where have you closed yourself off, where have you felt numb, where have you dissociated, right? Start to go into places that you may have not felt, or you may have avoided for a long period, and start to create that space so that you can feel it and you can release that tension, and you can start to invite energy in that is actually supportive, right? I hope this video has helped you. It was a little bit different than I expected it to be, which is good, you know. Getting a little break is always nice. And with this said, thank you so much, and I'm saying goodbye. Bye.